Hey everybody, it's Celeste and I'm back today to do another tarot reading. This time I want to be tuning into a certain portion of the collective who might be having problems with getting their butts in their chairs to actually write. This could mean that you're not feeling productive at all right now during this time, or it could mean that you're feeling productive in other areas, but for some reason you're feeling creatively blocked. I want to dig into that a little bit and see if we can get some guidance for you if that's what you're feeling. Okay, so I'm going to pull a theme card, and if that theme card resonates with you, just hang in there and see if the rest of the reading seems helpful for you. Spirit, what's holding you back today? Come to life. Right. You know, it's really funny is when you have these decks, sometimes I've had this deck for like years and I have never ever seen this card. So I'm going to grab the book really quick and just make sure that what I'm feeling from this is in alignment with what the book says. All right. Here we go. This is the Sacred Rebels deck, by the way. All right, card 43. It talks about you are the most sacred of all sacred artworks. You're bringing yourself to life now, and this is how it must be. Okay, so this is kind of about, this card is actually about being in the flow. It's about your life not being in the flow. So if you're feeling like everything's just a little bit disjointed for whatever reason, it could be just because your routine has been disrupted significantly right now, whether you're working at home or you're not working at all, or maybe everything's going on for you, but you have extra people in your house right now. Any of these reasons could be going on for you. This card is about not feeling in the flow with your life, and that makes total sense based on what you're seeing here. She's painting on her body, and it looks like she's kind of sitting on this checkerboard floor, which kind of reminds me of a game board. Like she's not in the game of life. She's not aligned with the energy that she needs to be feeling, but she wants to be. So if this is your blockage, hang in there with me and we'll see what else is going on for you right now. All right, I'm gonna pull a couple tarot cards about what is the recent external energy around this. Give us some recent external energy. When I say external energy, I mean like things that are going on in your life, in your real, like, practical world. So we've got the Ace of Cups. A couple more, Spirit. What else is going on in the external energy right now in the practical world? All right. The Magician. All right. Okay, the Ace of Cups is like an overflow of emotion. It is a card that signifies the opening of the heart chakra, but it's also could be what I'm getting here because of what we're talking about and the cards that I'm also seeing is that the Ace of Cups is representing some overflow in terms of like maybe you're having a hard time turning off your feelings. Maybe you're feeling like your cup is overflowing in a way that you don't feel in control of. Sometimes we think about overflow being the place that we can give from, and sometimes it feels a little bit out of control. And what makes me say that is that this magician is inverted, and the magician symbolizes your feeling of control and your confidence in your ability to create what it is that you want to create. So there's something going on here with overwhelm, I think, emotional overwhelm possibly, and this could be just a relationship, it could be with the world at large, either way. And then this would be your ability to kind of deal with that. So you're not feeling very confident in your ability to take care of that. We have the Judgment card, and the Judgment card is about, what is it saying here to me? It's saying that you feel maybe like it's, again, I think this speaks to like a feeling of a lack of control. Okay, and again, why I say that is because we've got the Two of Swords over here, and the Two of Swords can very clearly indicate that you have choices to make, but you don't feel like you have what you need to make them. If you look closely at this crow, he has that blindfold on that you typically see in the Two of Swords card. And this usually indicates a choice and a need to make a decision, or a desire to make a decision. And you're not feeling, for whatever reason, you're not feeling that you can actually do that. I'm gonna pull some cards now that talk about the thoughts and feelings that you might be feeling. Oops, I just dropped a card. I guess I didn't even get the question out, so I'm not going to take it. The thoughts and feelings and beliefs that you're thinking and feeling, excuse me, that need clearing and healing. Sorry, I got my tongue all tied up on that one. So this is what is going on inside your heart and mind and soul that you need to clear and heal. All right. Okay, this Five of Cups is a sense of loss and regret. So you're feeling that you have missed out, or that you've made some mistake of some sort, or maybe you've lost something and you're really focusing on that loss, and you're not paying attention to something else that is right there beside you, right there with you. What else needs clearing or healing? Five of Pentacles. This is that sentence inverted. So this is that sense of really needing to clear or release your mindset around scarcity, around loss. It's fear consciousness around abundance. So maybe this belief that, you know, I'm not going to be able to sell whatever it is that I'm writing in this, you know, time anyway, so why bother? Or that feeling of putting a lot of pressure on whatever it is that you want to create, and so it just won't come because you're out of flow. You're not in the belief in abundance. Okay. My guide said no on those. What else are we feeling that needs to be cleared or healed? Thoughts, feelings, beliefs that need to be cleared or healed. This is again about loss and scarcity. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse is about money literally falling out of our hands usually. So there's a sense right now of maybe for some of you it could be that you've lost a job, or that you could have lost income from actual writing, from another project that you were working on. Maybe you have a project that has been rejected. That could be going on here, like, and you're thinking that it has something to do with something that's beyond your control. I'm getting a strong feeling of helplessness around this, okay? It's like 14 of them jump out. Oh, I did it again, you guys. I'm really clumsy today. Okay. Yeah, your world is really upside down right now. And the way that you're thinking is a little bit, your worldview right now is, it's not in, your worldview is not in the flow. You're not feeling that the world is, this is like a feeling of hopelessness. It fits right in with this. A feeling that that not all is right with the world. All right, I want to look at, because this is all very negative, so I want to look at like what's supporting you right now. I want to look at some strengths that you can draw on. And the first set of strengths that I want to pull out are strengths in your external world that are maybe around you that you're missing. So this is going to be things that are supporting you, holding you up, things that are coming up for you soon. If you don't see them right now, then they may be things that are coming for you. All right. Oh, Page of Pentacles. Okay, so this is an opportunity. This could be this could be like a new idea that you think, that you feel confident is going to make you some money. Could be something in the physical starting to shift toward I want to say it's like a plan. He's got a map here. It's more of a plan coming together than anything. And that plan is going to make you feel like you're in control of, a lot of this is about money or about fears and stuff. This is going to give you some hope, and it's going to give you some hope specifically of drawing an income. Because maybe you're needing that right now. Maybe creating just for the sake of creating isn't quite cutting it for you. I can understand that right now. What else is supporting you besides this plan, or about this plan? Okay, well, all right. Get the Ace of Wands. And actually this one came out first. So again, we have the Five of Pentacles. That is that, it's actually the same as this card. This one's, so how does this scarcity mindset also support you? Well, if you're recognizing it, you can turn that into a positive by understanding that you have to actually be aware of that to stop living by this. So it's like we shine the light in the dark. She's got this lantern, okay? Like she's out in the cold with this kiddo. And then there's lights on inside of here, but she's got a light to see by. Okay, we don't have any reason to believe that she has to actually camp outside. Like she could be heading here. She could be heading next door. But she has a light, and the light symbolizes her illumination of the situation. Okay, so this is your awareness of what's been holding you back. When you know what's been holding you back, you can address it a little bit more easily. And then this Ace of Wands, this is about inspiration, okay? Your inspiration is supporting you. You have new ideas, you have a plan, and you have this knowledge now, and you do have ideas. You just need to allow them. Like notice she's not wielding this wand, and she's not holding this book or this scroll or this quill. they're rising out of the fire of her passion. And she's, instead of trying to control them, she is recognizing their presence. And that's about you stepping back from the need to control the situation and allowing that passion to come through. So what else is supporting you? These could be things that are a little bit more abstract, the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. What do you know to be true that's supporting you? What do you feel behind when you let go of this sorrow? What do you feel? Okay. So when you let go of your sorrow, you're really feeling this divine passion. Again, he has a map here and he's planning something, okay? This guy's got a plan, all right? The King of Wands is the master of one's own inspiration, the master of, in a lot of ways, the wands stand for art. And this is somebody who's got a plan for their art. Someone who's got a plan to bring this inspiration and draw it down into the real world and make something real out of it. So you believe, deep down inside, you know you can do it. You have a lot of confidence. What else? You believe in this happily ever after that you can have. You actually believe that that's something that you can have. And not everybody believes that, but you can really picture it. You've thought about this. And you've thought about it not just on an intellectual level, you have thought about it on a heartfelt level. You have really taken that into your being. And you've really sat with how that feels. And you not only want this, you believe that you can have it. You believe others can have it. So that's your belief that happiness exists. That's very supportive. Especially in the face of all that regret and fear. Okay, one more. Oh, okay, we'll take two. All right. And we have the Ace of Pentacles in the upright. All right. So what's supporting you? Regardless of how afraid you might be of money floating away from you right now, you know that there's more to be had. You understand that any money that you may have lost or that may have been on the table that didn't manifest, you understand that that's not the end all be all, that there's more where that came from. That's literally what came to my, what I heard in my, from my guides. There's more where that came from. So this pentacle and this sun, the sun is shining and this, they're like the same, right? The circle is the same. And so, and then the Eight of Wands is, this is about you. This is a real sense of her juggling to keep up. She looks a little worried, and there's this tornado that's kind of sucking her wands up in the background. So this is a lot of, this action tends to be very quick and almost a little bit out of control. This type of wand energy. But she's not giving up. Okay, this is a sense of hanging in there. She's not giving up. She's not going to lose her hat in this. It's tied under her chin. Do you see? She's not going to lose her cat or her hat if she can help it. All right, this is not a card of giving up. This is a card of being very much working for what it is that you want. You might be a little overwhelmed, but you have all of this confidence behind you that tells you that you can handle this. And even if you drop a few, you're still going to come out with something. All right. I'm going to pull some guidance cards now. How can you make the most of this? How can you make the most of this? Just some guidance going forward. Okay, that's too many. And they just fell out. There was nothing special about the way they fell out. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, okay. This came out last time, I think. All right, guidance. So this is what Spirit wants you to know, okay? Spirit wants you to know that there is a time, first of all, that our experience is a spiral that goes round and round. Sometimes we feel like, you know, you get ahead and then you lose. And then you get ahead and then you lose. It's that one step forward, two step back feeling. Or in my case, I usually feel, it's funny because I usually experience it as 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's how I always think of it. Because I'm always a little further ahead than I was, but I'll always have this little surge and I'll be like, woohoo, I'm winning. And then I'll be like, oh crap, well that wasn't as good as I thought. But I don't let that get me down because I understand that every step forward I take is a step forward. And I appreciate being able to sense higher and higher as I go, because that tells me where I do or don't want to go. Like, I'm like, oh, that felt really good. It was a little further ahead of where I'm at right now, but it felt really good and I want to go toward that. Or I'll be like, whoa, that was a little bit too much for me. I'm not really ready for that yet. So this sense, to me, this card is saying that you can take this time out that you've been experiencing as that step back before the steps forward. Okay? It's all part of a cycle, and it's really hard when we're in the down part of the cycle or when we've been in the down part of the cycle, but there's no reason for you to believe that this can't be fixed, that this mindset can't be overcome, that there's no way that you can move beyond this fear. You have a lot of really positive things going for you. And I do notice, so I'm not super big on numerology, but so I'm just going to point this out, and if it means something to you, then it means something to you. The numbers on this card are 5-2 and 2-5. So they're the reverse of each other. And maybe that means something to you, or maybe a 7 means something to you. Maybe this is a time frame that means something to you. I'm not making a prediction of any kind. I usually don't do that. But maybe that makes some sort of sense to you. So hang in there. It's worth whatever is broken, whatever you lost here. Okay. It just because you lost something doesn't mean that there's nothing else coming to you. And just because something's broken doesn't mean it can't be mended. Another thing that's coming to me is you'll know if this applies to you because you'll know what I'm talking about. But if there's a person in your life who maybe could help you with something, maybe there's what I'm getting is maybe there's a relationship that needs to be mended, and that could be a creative relationship or just one at home that's in your environment, since we did see a lot of energy in your environment that was a little disruptive. The other thing is that, again, with the relationships, is that relationships they're a little bit cyclical as well. And some relationships, of course, move out of our lives, and some of them go through these cycles, and we have to kind of engage with the cycle. And you know when that feels right, and you know when it doesn't, because sometimes you'll have the urge to go another round. You should listen to those urges. Unless you know them to be unhealthy. If you know it to be unhealthy and you know that it's a pattern, a toxic pattern that you have, then ignore that. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about your regular relationships that sort of fall off and then come back around sometimes. So what other kind of guidance do we have? This is about helping you get back into the chair to create. It's about getting you back into the flow of your life, okay? Because that's what this card represented back at the beginning. It's about you coming back to life. When you're out of the flow, you're out of the flow. So how else can we get there? Okay, that one said yes. There's two. Your dreams need a practical plan, and be bold and make the first move. Okay. So this is a thing about writing is that, especially when you want to be in the flow, sometimes we think that going with the flow means that there isn't any external resistance. That's not what it means. It means that when there's resistance, you have practiced in your practical life, you had practiced ways of going around that. You've acknowledged that, like if you're in the water and there's a rock, you have acknowledged that rock is there, and you have learned how to steer around it. Going in the flow means that you've learned how to go around the obstacles that are there. It doesn't mean there aren't any obstacles in the water. It means that you have practiced how to go around them. So this is about needing a practical plan to deal with the things that pull you out. So if you know that it scares you to death, the money thing scares you to death, then that's your sign to start learning about money. It's your sign to start studying, feeling more in charge of your money. It might mean for some people that means having another job. For some people it means taking their writing more seriously on a practical level, instead of just being like, oh, I do this because I love it and it's so much fun. Well, that's wonderful, but we need to have a little bit more. If you want to do this for a job, you've got to have a little bit more of a practical mindset around it, okay? And that can be very much in the flow. Don't think that practical things can't be in the flow. Be bold and make the first move. So again, this is about taking action. This is not about sitting around and waiting for inspiration to strike us. It might mean going for it when the mood strikes us, though, because sometimes we can be in huge resistance to when the ideas are flowing. Oh, I can't right now because you might need to make some adjustments in your life to go sit down, to go follow through on your practical plan. If your practical plan is, okay, I'm going to write, I want to write every day. If you're in a position where that seems reasonable for you, or maybe it doesn't seem reasonable, but maybe you think it should be reasonable. You're going to figure out what your obstacles are, and you're going to deal with you're going to get a plan going where you can write every day. And that might mean, if you have kids, it might mean while your kids are napping, you're going to put your writing first. It might mean that you get up before everybody else. If you're still fresh and you're a night owl, it might mean just staying up an hour later. But you can decide. If you want to be a binge writer, okay, I'm going to write on the weekends. I know I have space on my weekends. I'm not doing anything else. I can do it. That's a practical plan too. It doesn't have to be every single day. All right, I'm going to pull one more of these. I really like these Moonology cards. At first I wasn't sure how to use them because they don't, you know, whichever you pull doesn't really align with the moon. But they just have a really nice energy. Having faith in your dreams, okay? Knowing that just because we have a loss of inspiration, a loss of flow sometimes, just because sometimes we get out of the space that we need to be in to create does not mean that we're never going to write again, okay? Having faith in what you're trying to do is really important to being able to create a practical plan. Why would you create a practical plan if you didn't believe that you could do it? So you have to believe that you can do it so that you can make a practical plan. And you need to have a practical plan so that you can be bold and make that move. And I'm going to pull 3 self-care cards. And I want you to just pick one and try to do that for yourself. If you haven't been taking care of yourself, it's really important to being in the flow. Self-care is critical. Travel. Do you need to go away from, do you need to get out of your house? Is there somewhere that you can go that feels reasonable to you? Can you go for a drive? Can you go for a bike ride? Create. If the writing's not flowing for you, paint, draw, color, write something else. Sometimes when I'm not feeling my project, I can write a poem or something. I don't put any pressure on my poetry to succeed, so it's a little easier for me to do poetry. And then journal. This is one of my favorites. I journal a lot. It's another way for me to explore these ideas. So if you are feeling some of those negative things or having a hard time coming up with something to feel good about, writing in your journal, what is your story around scarcity? What is your story around regret? Where did those things come from? When was the first time you experienced scarcity? When was the first time you realized that you didn't have enough or that you could lose things? If you're feeling, there was another one that I wanted to bring up. Oh, this out of control thing, okay? That's a good one to explore in your journal. What feels out of control right now? What is it that, what's going on that you can't control? And if you can't control it, how are you reacting? What are you doing? Are you withdrawing? Are you frozen? How is it that you are reacting or responding to that lack of control? And if you could handle it in any way and have no repercussions, how would you handle it? And that might give you a clue. That's not necessarily what you should do because it depends on the thing. But it might give you a clue as to what's really missing and what you need to actually deal with. Like sometimes if you're feeling resentful, like you're out of control and you're a mom, what you need to look at is your relationship with motherhood. It's not that your kids are necessarily a problem. Sometimes it's just the way that you've conditioned them to expect you to show up, and they can actually handle a little bit of a change sometimes. And that depends on, that depends on your unique situation, but that's just an example. Okay, so that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope the reading was helpful to you. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. And if you happen to want to work with me or read my blog, I do one-on-one coaching and writing mentorships, and you can read my blog at arachneproject.com. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.